Good afternoon. Just to go back and recap last week's game, I thought it was real good to have so many alumni, former football players actually here, and to come off the out of the game with a victory. You know, it's always good to win your homecoming, but I thought we had a campus full of former athletes, and they showed their love by coming around and making sure that they even spoke to the players. So I thought it was a good time for us right there. That's behind us right now. Now we're back into conference play, and we have to play a Jackson State football team.
Coach, would you talk a little bit about Jackson State and what you see? You coached against them last year in the conference championship game. What do you see? How much better are they, and why are they better?
Well, the thing that I look at, I never try to go in and look and see if a team is better. I'm trying to see if my team is better. That's the team that I need to be able to move forward. We look at the things that they're doing this year here, because a lot of teams you're never going to have the same team. Although you may have some players coming back, a lot of things have changed. So, 7 games into the season, we're not really focused on what happened last year. We're looking at what those guys are doing right now. Evidently, they're playing some good football because they are at the top of the East right now.
And Shedeur Sanders is way out ahead of the rest of the quarterbacks. Great numbers. It looks like he's having another big year. Can you talk about what makes him a good quarterback?
When you say way out ahead, when you look at some of the quarterbacks within our conference, most of the time we're going to have dual threat quarterbacks. So you got to look at their rushing yards as well. So, we may have some quarterbacks going to probably have 1,800 yards passing, but then on the other end, they're going to have maybe 600 to 700 yards rushing, which kind of puts them in there when you talk about all-purpose yards. But I guess he's running their offense to perfection, what their coaches are asking them to do, and you couldn't ask for anything more when a guy can run your offense. So he's doing a great job there, and we look forward to the challenge.
Coach, how important is the exposure that your program will be getting on Saturday with College Game Day coming?
Well, not just the program. You talk about the university because they're going to have to highlight Southern University and the different things that they have here that's of value to a lot of student athletes. So I think it's great that they're coming here. Once again, I did mention a lot of folks are saying that the exposure has been there. You talk about last year, some guys played on ESPN for 6 or 7 games, and I know my first year into the conference as a head coach had opportunity to play on ESPN 5 times. So the exposure been there, and I'm glad that they're doing even more so, because I think the players and the coaches that's in this conference deserves that.
And how important is this rivalry game, Jackson State, Southern, two of the better teams in SWAC play going to be done?
Well, when you line it up to me, I always look at it that way here. I think every game that we play in this conference is important to me. We don't want to step on the field and try to overlook our opponents. So we understand everybody that we play. And besides, you're talking about the conference this year here, a very challenging conference. You got teams from everywhere that can play football. Sometimes the records doesn't indicate that, but there are a lot of great football teams in this conference.
Coach, one of your messages to the team after the game Saturday was to stay off social media. How much more important is it for them to block out the noise going into this game?
Well, I don't really think it's about blocking out the noise, because it's everywhere. I think about that the game is going to be played in between the stripes, and that's all that matters. No one is going to win the championship on social media. No one is going to win the championship on television. You can still have to line down and play for 60 minutes.
Coach, yesterday, Coach Ryan said that this game's going to come down to which team can be more disciplined. Kind of hinted maybe yours might have been more disciplined one. What do you have to respond to that?
We're going to be disciplined. That's the kind of football that we play. When you look at penalties, everybody starts saying that because you have so many penalties, you're not a disciplined team. No, she's got a lot of fouls that game. So that really don't dictate the discipline side of it. I think our guys are focused and are ready to do what the things that we've been coaching them to do. We got a great coaching staff that played this game in this conference and understand what it takes. So the discipline side, you're talking about the 7 week into the season. If we have guys still making the same mistakes from the first week, more than likely we got the wrong person out there.
What do you think the way DeSean was able to build up Jackson State the past few years?
Well, when you take a look at Jackson State, I got a coach on my staff that played at Jackson State, broke a lot of records there. Jackson State always been good. Jackson State, when you talk about the W.C. Gardens, how do you not mention Jackson State? And when you talk about the players that they have, it's been good. I think it's good that a program the magnitude of Jackson State is there in the running, because that's what the Southwestern Athletic Conference is all about.
Coach, the exposure has already been here this way. How much DeSean has really elevated things.
I'm sure he's done a great job for Jackson State, but the exposure going to come from Southern University to things that we're able to do, and I guess every university that has a team in this conference.
Coach, Taj Brown was one of the first guys you signed when you got here. Did you have a history on him? Had you recruited him before? Did you know a little bit about him, and how did you manage to get him to come here?
I did know a lot about him coming out of high school, knowing where he played at down in the river parishes. I know he was a great football player and was one of the highly decorated players coming out. Had the opportunity to sign in the FBS. Things didn't go as planned and went to another school. And so with the opportunity to get a guy like that, knowing playing within this conference you need defensive linemen, I thought it was a value for us.
We'll talk a little bit about his development, too. He's leading the team in sacks. He's been a very consistent player throughout the year.
And you know, that's what we expect from our veteran players. He's a steady guy, a guy that's not real flashy, but he's going to get the job done and make plays. We knew that coming in that he was a great football player, and we felt that he can play anywhere on the defensive front. But we chose to put him in the inside, and he's doing a great job along with the other guys that we have out there.
Coach, I know you said that you always look as an opponent kind of the same. What do you guys really need to prepare for? Because there's a lot going to be going on with college game day and everything else. What are you telling your guys to kind of prepare for that environment?
Because college game day is actually going to be for the fans. We're going to be in the game, and that's all we're concerned with, the game itself. You know, I think players want guys to come see them play. They want the individuals to come out. So I think you should be enthused and ready to play. We're going to line down and have our team perform and be ready to perform, I should say. So for us, the outside and the noise right there, that's why you play the game. I don't think it's anyone would want to go to a stadium and see maybe just one or two guys in there. We want to see it full.
Coach, how concerned are you with the weather forecast? And what are you going to do to prepare for that in case you have a rain day like that?
I'm not concerned about it. Our motto is spot the ball.
Do y'all do wet ball drills and things like that? Do y'all do it?
We don't have to do that. Those guys are coached up. You know, I think you overemphasize some things when you start putting out wet balls. The ball is going to be wet. You're going to do certain things. We had some. I've been involved with teams had some great games when it was wet. So I mean, you just got to play your football and understand that it's still a football game. At the end of the day, both teams are going to be in the same conditions.
Do you feel like your team's hitting their full stride right now, offensively and defensively, on this 4-game winning streak?
I think we still have some room to grow some more. I still don't think we have played a complete football game yet. I think the sky is the limit. These young men are very, very talented. We just got to be able to put together all three phases, and I think when we do that, it's going to be good.
Coach, we saw Bubba take the first snap after DeSean Day was done. After DeSean Day was done, is he the number 2 or is Blood number 2?
You know, we compete every day, so you never know who's going to be number 2, number 3, or number 4. We feel that, you know, going into a week, guys have to compete, and it should be that way, so that guys can stay on their P's and Q's and be ready to go.
And Noah Biden, he got his first rest of the season. How would you assess the way he played on Saturday?
He came in and did what we expected him to do. I tell you what, he did some things that we knew he was capable of doing, I should say. So some of the things that these guys are doing, and I guess the public is getting the opportunity to see, we're not surprised as coaches because we see these guys every day. We see their performance on the field and some of the things we expected. And, of course, Noah been in this conference and he played. He started in several games in this conference. So him having jitters shouldn't be an issue.
How deep is your receiving core? It seems like you can put a number of guys out there and they can make plays.
It's real deep, but you know, just being a former receiver, I would say it's not deep enough. But we got some guys out there that we feel real comfortable with. Some guys that haven't actually played so far, but our coach is doing a great job with them. He understands what they need to do to get them better, and there's no question he's doing an excellent job.
How do you think your team has held their own up front, offensively and defensive line? You feel like that's a strength for this team right now?
That has to be the strength of your team. If you're going to go somewhere, I think you have to be real good in the trenches. And thank God that we have on both sides of the ball, we have some guys that can help us get there.
Coach, you've come right out and said how much you like to throw the ball. But this team is showing a lot of balance, and maybe that surprised some observers. But is this as balanced an offense as you've been able to get? Because y'all run the ball seemingly as well as you throw.
Well, you know, of course, that's my mindset. I'm going to throw the football, but we're going to do what it takes for us to win. But ever since I've been involved in calling offensive plays, we've probably been one of the most balanced teams in the conference.
DeSean said your defense is going to have some trouble Saturday. Do you agree with that assessment?
Well, 1 p.m., everybody's going to find out.
How about the defensive backs? What's the status of their health and progressing along?
Oh, they're doing well. I think everybody is primed and ready to go. Why wouldn't you be ready to play in a game of this magnitude? So for us to help, there's no reason. And if we did, there's no excuses. We're going to play this game Saturday at 1 p.m.
Without letting up a second half touchdown, what's kind of been the mindset that they've had in that coming out of the locker room? What's changing?
Well, it's a great mindset. We just got to have that mindset coming out the locker room in the first quarter. We got to have that mindset throughout the whole game, and I think the coaches are making some great adjustments when we go into halftime. We like to make adjustments throughout the game, but I think they're doing a great job, and the players are starting to understand what we're looking for. So, I mean, it takes the chemistry from everyone, from the coaches as well as the players. So I think everyone is doing a great job thus far.
Any more questions for Coach Dooley? Thanks, Coach Dooley. Good luck, Coach.
All right.
First up, wide receiver, number 2, Cassius Allen. This past weekend against Virginia Lynchburg, Cassius Allen had 5 receptions for 144 yards and a touchdown. That makes the second week in a row that State University had a receiver with over 100 yards receiving. First question for Cassius.
Cassius, talk about going up against Jackson State. This is kind of like a big collision between two real good teams, division leaders. Does that get you going?
I'm going before every game, so I treat every game the same. They got some athletes. We got athletes too, so I'm just ready to play.
But it must, and with all the added attention, the game day and all that, does that add something to you? Does it get you excited about it?
I mean, I'm pretty sure to get anybody else excited too, but I mean, like I said, we focused on trying to go 1-0, not really worried about what everything else going around the game, just trying to win.
But how much exposure is this going to give the university and the team?
I mean, it's gonna give us a lot of exposure. Just got to go out there and play our brand of football.
I've already beaten 2 first-place teams. I mean, how much more of a statement would this game be? The top team in the conference.
I mean, we the top in the West, they're the top in the East. I mean, this is the game everybody want to see, so we'll see at 1 p.m. college game day.
How good did it feel to get your first touchdown here?
It felt good, but like I said, I'm off the pass. I'm ready to go 1-0 this week. Ready to get the W.
They've got some guys who play both sides of the ball, so you'll be competing against them when they're playing defensive back, but also kind of on the stat sheet when they're playing wide receiver. How does that add to like your competitive edge out there?
Like I said before, they got athletes just like we got athletes, but I like our matchups better. So.
You help Sean just throw it up to you, Cassius? You gonna go get it?
That's
6'5", huh?
Yes, sir. That's what we rep every time we score. You see us throw it up. So, I mean, if you throw it up, I'm going to get it.
Any more questions for Cassius? Thanks, Cassius. Next up, St. University starting quarterback DeSean McRae. This past weekend, Rashawn went 18 of 22 for 286 yards, 2 touchdowns, with the longest touchdown pass of 56 yards. He also had 14 yards on the ground and another touchdown. First question for Rashawn.
Rashawn, how does it feel to be going back home where you played last year? Do you have some fond memories of being in Jackson?
Yes, I do. Call it my second home, not my first, but yeah, it's exciting to go back. I haven't been back since I left, so exciting.
And what about the attention this game's going to get? Does it add a little something extra?
It's a big game because it's the next game, like we always say, so we just want to go 1-0, not really focus on the outside, focus on what we got to do.
How do you, avoid the extraness that this game brings? Like this game day, it's a big rivalry. How do you kind of avoid all that noise?
I think we just focus on what's at hand. Winning the football game, that's what's most important. So practice, film, same thing. Just do what we usually do.
Do you feel like the offense is a good rhythm and flow right now? It seems like you guys are very balanced and are playing well, running football as well as throwing it.
Yeah, we're very balanced, and that's a good thing. I think we have things we have to work on, of course, but yeah, we're very balanced.
How do you feel halfway through your first season in SWAC? Do you feel like you're ready for the games to be and everything's coming to you?
Can you repeat that again?
How do you feel that you're halfway through your first season in the SWAC? Do you feel like you're up to speed with the game and where everything's at physically? Do you feel like you're very comfortable?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm very comfortable.
How's it mindset going into a challenge against another top quarterback in the SWAC?
I think we just got to focus on us. He's a great quarterback, but the focus is on what we have to do.
You probably, people think you compare yourself to Shadur Sanders, but you're probably more interested in the defense. Have you looked at some of the game tape of them, and have you gotten an idea of what you're up against?
Yeah, we watched them. They are a great defense, but of course it's about what we have to do and what we're looking forward to do.
What sticks out about what they do?
I think they play well as a whole. I can't give out one individual. I think their whole defense is great.
Any more questions for Bashan? Thank you, Bashan. Next up is Tajheion Round. This past weekend, Taj led the Jaguars in sacks with 3. Right now, he's currently number 2 overall in the SWAC with 6.5 sacks in the conference. The floor is over for Taj.
Taj, how did you end up coming to Southern? What made you decide to leave Nichols and come here?
Just the tradition behind Southern University, Coach Dooley, Coach Leal, and I just really want to just come back to Baton Rouge and play for HBCU.
And has it been everything you wanted? I mean, do you feel like you adapted quickly and jumped in there and started playing?
Oh, yeah, I would say that. I mean, I've been around Southern a long time. I used to come watch Southern games and stuff like that. So, like, I knew what Southern was and stuff like that. So it was just good to be a part of it now.
Taj, do you think the team's double teaming Dumas has opened up lanes for you to get to the quarterback?
Man, you could say that. I mean, Dumas is a great player, so he's going to get a lot of attention. So, like, when I get my one-on-ones, I just got to take advantage of it.
This last game, it wasn't Dumas, though, and you saw not a lot more, but more consistent of being out on the field, and it led to a really big game for you. Does that help you feel more comfortable on the field?
Yeah, just preparation, going throughout the week, working hard, trying to be consistent, and it shows on Saturday.
How does it feel to hear Willie read off all those numbers about what you've been able to do, not only Saturday, but throughout the season, just your first season?
Really just thankful. I work hard, real hard for it, and it's just finally good to see it, see me show it on Saturdays now. So.
Is rushing the passer something you've always been good at, or is that an ability you have sharpened since you got here and as you've gotten older?
I mean, I was always a guy that just loved to sack the quarterback. So, I mean, as a defensive lineman, that's all defensive linemen want to do. But, I mean, coming here and being coached by Coach Clark and Coach Miller, they've tuned it up a lot, so I get after the quarterback a lot more.
Do you have a sack dance that you like to use, or is there something you're saving?
I don't have a sack dance, but maybe it's something I'm saving. So.
If you were in the NFL, you'd have one.
Yeah, for sure.
Taj, is this one of those weeks where guys got to bring a little extra juice throughout the week, and the fact that this is a game between the top 2 teams in the conference?
I wouldn't say bring extra juice. I'd say just be the same like we were the whole year. We come every week ready to work, be consistent, and just like don't change anything. Just keep doing the same thing we've been doing.
With this game, college game day, huge crowd. Is this something that you've always dreamed of, and the kind of environment you've always wanted to play in front of?
Most the ESPN, so you can show your talents, in front of the world. So I think for sure.
How big an influence has Jason Dumas been on you? Y'all knew each other in high school, played against each other?
Mm-hmm.
How
So
big a help has he been coming here?
Yeah, it's been my boy since high school, so we've been close. So me coming here, then him talking to me when he wanted to come over here. So like the bond been there. So like I mean, he done some great things throughout his career. So just being around him every day, knowing what he do, how he take care of his body, how he come in every day and work and stuff like that. I just try to look at it and try to put it in my game.
You were here first?
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you this, in high school, did y'all have to block each other at times? I mean, did you play both ways and have to block him sometimes and him you sometimes?
Nah, I played mostly defense. I play like tight end on offense, but we both played mostly defense, so we never really had to go against each other physically.
Did y'all talk a lot to each other across the line?
Oh.
Or did y'all?
Yeah, most definitely. It was a rivalry. St. James versus Downsonville. It's a big rivalry for us, so we definitely talked. Yeah.
You kind of touched on your bond with Dumas. What about the rest of the defensive line? You guys seem really close and all be really excited for one another. Kind of carry a different energy in the defense.
I mean, that's big. Like, in our defensive line, it's like a family. So, like, we built this relationship starting with camp, the summer, working out together and stuff like that. And we knew what we had in that D-line room, and we knew if we just stuck together and, supported each other, that big things happen for that group.
Any more questions for Todd? Thank you, Todd.
Good luck, Todd.
Appreciate you.
Next up, Mr. Dallas Black, starting center for the Jaguars. The numbers for our offensive line orchestrated is right now St. University is number 2 in the conference in 20 yards or 460 yards a game. St. University is number 1 in rushing with 228 yards a game. St. University is number 3 in passing with 230 yards a game. The floor is open for Dallas Black.
Dallas, Jackson State's a big game for Southern no matter what year it is, but y'all lost a tight one to them last year. You were on the field. It's got to get you thinking like this is a chance for payback.
Not really looking for payback. It's Boombox Classic is always a big game, but just trying to go 1-0.
How well is this offensive line playing right now? Do you feel like you guys are put it all together?
I feel like we're playing pretty well, but the best is yet to come. We still getting better day by day, so I feel like the best is yet to come for us.
College game day, huge environment. I know you talked about it a little bit, but is this something you've kind of dreamed about, coming to play college football in environments like this?
Yeah, what more can you ask for? The Boombox Classic, it's going to be a sold-out crowd. What more can you ask for? It's going to be a great time.
Dallas being all swag, does that give you a little edge on going into the game, knowing that you got the experience that you have shown that you're one of the better players in the conference?
I mean, I feel like it doesn't really give you an edge. You still got to go out there and perform, go out there and dominate each play and hopefully get it again at the end of the season.
How's the rivalry with Jackson State compared to other rivals?
Jackson State, I would say that's probably the top rivalry in the SWAC, but yeah, I feel like there's a lot of history behind that. So
Why is that?
I don't know. It goes back, before even when I was born. It's gonna go, when I'm gone from Southern University. So it's a great rivalry. It's always a great game. So.
What do you think Deion's brought to Jackson State in the SWAC?
Next question.
Dallas, you block against Tajheion Round in practice. He's a newcomer. You were here you've been center for a couple of years now.
Yes, sir.
What are some of his strengths? What has it been like going against him in practice? What can you say about your teammate?
He's a pretty crafty player. He's a good player. He uses his hands well. He's pretty strong. I like going against. They say iron sharpens iron, so it's great to go against such a good player like that every day.
Does it get real intense in practice with your defensive line and guys like Taj sometimes?
I wouldn't say it gets intense. It's competitive. It's but at the end of the day, we all brothers, so it's all tough love.
But y'all really get after each other.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Dallas, when Coach Dooley first came, all the talk was about this pass-heavy coach. Y'all gonna throw the ball a lot. There y'all still the top rushing team
Well, I always knew there would be balance, you know, in the offense. I feel like, you know, the pass and the runs open up for the pass and the pass open up for the run. So it's really just what we was working best for us at the time. But I always knew there would be balance.
Does hearing numbers like that make the offensive line happy? Like, do you guys look at the statistical leaders and be like, yeah, that's on us. We're the top rushing team this way. We are the top 5 for passing.
I mean, we wouldn't really look at it like that. You know, we got a great unit as a whole, so I feel like that just goes to say how good of how well we've worked as an offense. But like I said, the best is yet to come.
As an offensive lineman, do you like playing in a game when the conditions are bad, like a lot of rain, or mud and slop? Or do you like playing in games like that since you're in the trenches?
Well, to tell the truth, in college I haven't had a game like that yet, so really wouldn't.
They were forecasting rain for the game, and I was just wondering if in high school did you ever play in a mud game?
Yeah, I played.
What happens in a game like that? What happens to the offensive line? Do they have to concentrate on just not slipping, or how do you get through that?
Yeah, I think in times like that you got to pay more attention to your footwork. You know, just really getting your feet in the ground, so you know you can stay planted.
Any more questions for Dallas? Thank you, Dallas. Last but not least, Mr. Cameron Peterson. This past week, Cameron Peterson game with 3 tackles, half a tackle for loss and a sack. Floor is open for Cameron.
Cameron, what do you think about game day coming to your game?
You know, it's a tremendous opportunity, but at the same time, you know, we're focused on what's important. That's practicing, preparing for the game, and handling our business when we go down there. So it doesn't really matter about the environment or things like that. We focus on us. We know what we have to do. We know who we are, and so those are things that we focus on consistently.
In a game like this with a really talented quarterback, how important is it to get pressure on him and try to force him to make mistakes?
I mean, it's important no matter who you go against, you know. The game is won and lost in the trenches, and, you know, this season we've had the ability to rush the passer and get pressure. So in a game like this, it's even more paramount that we, you know, get him off his spots, make him uncomfortable. We know what the offense is capable of, but, you know, us as a defensive unit, our defensive front, we have all the confidence in the world in.
How great has it been to have Taj in the defensive line this year?
Taj, man, that's my guy, man. You know, having a guy like that, somebody who's, you know, played a lot of football, but at the same time, you know, we're like a family. So having a brother like that, seeing him succeed and do the things he does, it's just a testament to how hard he works and all the things, all the hours he's put in and all the things he's been through to get to this moment and get to this position. I mean, I couldn't even explain to you how it feels.
Having Taj has allowed them to play you at end a little bit this year. Is that right? You've been playing a little bit of end.
Yeah, you know, I had the ability to move around. So, I mean, you know, whatever is needed. That's the biggest thing. You know, it's not really about me. It's more about the team. We have a goal. We have things we're trying to achieve. And so whatever position I need to be in to help us do that, I'm always going to do that. Having guys like Taj and Jason Dumas, you know, giving me the ability to move around, to give our defense more flexibility to do different things, I think that has, you know, been something that we missed last year. And then having it this year, I think you makes all the difference in the world. I wouldn't necessarily use the word worry. I think the key is we had to play our game. We had to play fast. You know, you had to be aware. You had to pay attention to those details. But using things like worry or things to think about, you don't want to slow down in the game. You want to play fast. You want to play our game. And so I think, you know, we're aware of that. We'll pay attention to those details. But as far as worrying or anything like that, that's just something that we don't do.
What's the best way to describe the rivalry with Jackson State?
It's very unique for a different number of reasons. You know, one thing is, you know, we played them in the Boombox Classic, and you also had the opportunity to play them in the SWAC Championship, which has been done, you know, times before us. And so when you had that unique opportunity where you get to play a team twice in one season, that's been done in history before, you know, I think that adds a different element that you don't really get in a lot of rivalries.
How do you feel about
I mean, the mindset doesn't change. We're always 100% full tilt. We feel like, you know, we have a very good unit. We know what we're capable of, and we have all the confidence in the world in our ability. So if we drop 8, I mean, the expectation is the same. There's no excuse.
Must have been frustrating to lose to them last year. Y'all led almost the whole game. Tell us what y'all did to slow them down last year that helped.
I mean, you know, I think the thing is just when a game like this, you know, a lot of stuff goes out the window. It's just guys out there playing. You know, everybody's playing hard, playing fast, so it's going to be a physical game, you know, competitive. Everybody's ultra-competitive in the rivalry. So, I mean, it's just can't really just point out one or two things. I think just, you know, us trying to play our best football and put a game plan together to take away the things that they did well was something that we did for most of the game but didn't do it for all. So we ended up falling short, but we're on to this year.
How disappointing was it to fall short in that game?
I mean, you know, it hurts, but, I mean, it's in the past, so we're moving on.
Any more questions for Cam?